Okay, so let us start our lecture 8. So in previous video class, we have discussed about the bolt connection, the several types of bolt connection. So we have we have understood about the types of joints depending upon the parameters of just like the arrangement of bolts and plates, depending upon the mode of load transmission and depending upon the nature of location of load. So upon these three things, the types of joint will be differing. Okay. So the types depending upon the arrangement of bolts and plates, we have discussed this lap joint and butt joint connection associating with its corresponding arrangement of bolting. So here we have already discussed about this plate arrangement and the corresponding bolting arrangement over this plate. So plate arrangement was divided into these two joints as lap joint and butt joint, and to connect these type of plates we needed or we have studied about the bolting alignment or the bolting arrangement like chain bolting, zigzag bolting, and also the single lining or double bolting, etc. Like these chain bolting, zigzag bolting, diamond bolting. And next one we have studied about the uh, the parameter which depend upon the arrangement of bolts and plates. So these we have already discussed. Okay. So I hope you do not have any, you have
Ma'am,
understood these concepts in the previous classes. I will presume that, okay?
ma'am gross diameter টা
So
আরেকবার
if you
বলবেন।
have any queries about these things, you can even ask me now.
ম্যাম গ্রস ডায়ামিটারটা একটু বলবেন। গ্রস ডায়ামিটার।
Okay. So in previous class, we have studied about the nominal diameter and gross diameter. So the nominal diameter was this, was this, sorry, the diameter of the shank part, the unthreaded shank part. This was the unthreaded shank part, right? So this was the nominal diameter, and the gross diameter was this diameter plus the clearance length. Mean we have already said that while the bolt, when this bolt will be injected to that hole will be quite, I mean, by dimension, that hole will be much more than this nominal diameter, right? So the diameter, the nominal diameter plus the standard clearance, which we should have to which we have to adopt from the IS code. So that will be the gross diameter of the bolting system. So the extra amount of the length which we have to incorporate to make that bolt to go through this hole. So that will be the gross diameter, the total diameter, meaning the nominal diameter plus the standard clearance, which is given in the IS code. Okay. So next, the third type of, third parameter, which is depending upon the mode of transmission. So we have studied about the arrangement of bolts and plates, and this one we will study right now is the depending upon the mode of load transmission. Okay. Okay. So, depending upon the mode of load transmission, it has been designated in three categories: single shear, double shear, multiple shear. See, when a bolting system or a bolting connection has been attached to hold this plate, see this bolting part. this shank part has been associated fully to transmit the load from one plate to another plate, right? See, so this part will be taking or will consider the total load transmission. So can you observe that the type of load which will be faced by this bolting should be shearing, right? Because this is the bolt, right? So this plate, since the plate is situated in this manner, one plate is in this way, another plate is this way, and one plate will try to move in this direction and another plate will try to move in that direction. So what will happen? So this plate will create this kind of stress. So this plate will develop this kind of stress over to this shank part of the bolt. So the shank part will face the shearing effect. That is why in here, depending upon the mode of load transmission, so the load transmission mode will be faced by the bolt joint is shear. Now the shear will vary from single to multiple shear. Okay, it will depend upon the number of plates these bolts are connecting. So let us see the diagram. See, this is a type of a single shear mechanism through, see, this is the bolt connection, and this is two plates. See, the plate, the top plate is creating a force like this, and the bottom plate is creating a force like this. So at this part of the bolt, the shear transmission will occur. So see, only one shear activity will be faced by this bolt. So if that bolt may get failed, so probably this bolt will be failed due to a single shear, mean this bolt may rupture in this way. Sorry. So the bolt will might rupture in this way, isn't it? So see, a single shear may fail this bolt. So that is why this kind of mode of load transmission will be termed as single shear. Next, see, this is the double shear mechanism. See, this is the bolt, and this plate is creating this force, and that intermediate plate is creating that. Next, this intermediate plate is creating this type of shear stress, and the bottom plate is creating this type of shear stress. So how many shear stress has been developed? 1, 2. That is why this type of shear mechanism taken by the bolt will be subjected to a double shear load transmission. Okay. Next, see, this is a multiple shear activity. How can we say that? So see, this is 1 shear, this is 2. Mean this is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 plates. So this 2 and 3 will have 1 shear, and next this 3 and just a minute. Let me just let me show this. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, so see, 1 and 2 will face 1 shear here. Next, 2 and 3 will face 1 shear. 2 and plate 3 will face 1 shear. And next, 3 and 4 plate will face another shear. See, there is a multiple shear activities. So that kind of mode of load transmission will be observed in this type of bolting connection. Okay, so these are some mode of load transmission. Next, depending upon the nature and location of the load. See, the nature and the location of the load is very important part to be to understand. So the factors which are written here, let us read out. So first is direct shear connection, next is eccentric connection, third is pure moment connection, fourth is moment shear connection. We will see the diagram corresponding to these. See, the direct shear connection, that phenomenon will something look like this. See, this is a plate. This is a prime. Say this is a sorry. This is a plate. This is one plate, and this is another plate. And the lapping part is this. Sorry, is this right? So, in the lapping zone, the connection will be situated. The bolting connection will be situated. See, uh, when a certain amount of load will be subjected in this manner, as if you are pulling these two plates in this two direction, okay, then a direct shear will be subjected to this all connection. Then these activities or the nature and the location of load will be designated as a direct shear connection. So in this individual connection or the bolting joint, a direct shear will be subjected by these plates. Okay. Next, see, this is a eccentric connection. See, as we know that eccentricity means the load which will be, see, if say this is the column, this I am showing you a column section, okay. So if you if you apply a load at the center, it will be a concentric load. But thus, if you shift that same load to quite a distance far from the center of the column, then that load will be considered as eccentric. Mean the load which is quite shifted from the center of the section. See, here a load is, say this is some length and this is the load amount. So this load has not been applied in the center of the section. So this type of load is considered as the name concentric connection. So this kind of connection which will take this kind of eccentric load or the mode of load transmission or the location of the load is in an eccentric way or shifted to in a direction, so that will be considered as a eccentric connection. And definitely that eccentric connection will create a moment. See, just shifting to a quite distance, this distance will create a moment in this way of amount of something p into x, right? So from if we consider this distance, but actually the bolting connection will be here actually the superior to take this load. So that length will be coming from the bolting connection only, not from this part, because all the total load will be considered by or taken by this bolting system only. That is why the moment distance will be considered from the bolting distance. Okay. Next is see, this is a pure moment connection. See, a connection, see these bolts are plugged in this place to connect this plate, this horizontal plate with this plate, right? and see the type of moment which has been applied is in this direction, having a equal distance of distance corresponding to its opposite direction here. See, in this mechanism, this is creating a moment in this way and this is creating a moment in this way, right? So it is kind of a rotating moment altogether. So a rotating moment altogether is can be achieved in this kind of category of connection. That is why this is called a pure moment. Mean a moment which is created in this direction, maybe a same amount of moment will be coming in the same direction from the opposite side. That is why this kind of connection which can withstand these moments are called the pure moment connection. Okay. Next is moment shear connection. See, here a certain amount of moment will be developed. How? Because a force is applied in this part having a distance, having a certain distance, right? Maybe the distance can be x, and if this is a p, so here a moment are being developed and a shear will be developed. See, a connection is plugged in this way, right? So with this plate to that plate, a shear activity will be developed due to this load, because if you try to project or subject this P load in this way, so that part of plate will try to come down this way and this connection will try to resist that force, right? I mean, taking the strength from this plate. So the opposite direction force will be in that way. So a shear stress will be developed. So here a moment is getting developed and a shear stress is also being developed. That is why this kind of, or this mechanism of connection is also called a moment shear connection. Okay. Next, okay, this is an important one. So the following are the failure modes of bolted joint. So now you need to know that what could be the possible failures due to in the bolting connection. Okay. So this failure has been, I have divided this failure in two categories. So one failure which will occur in bolt and the other failure which will occur at plate. Okay, so this has been given in the IS code as well. So you have to measure the failure at the bolt and at the plate. See what happens. If this is a plate, see, if a failure occurs, then that failure can occur due to the failure of the connection, or the failure can occur due to the failure of these plates. So we have to design this connection or this structure as per these both structural materials capacity. So we need to know in which way this structural material may fail, right? See, for bolting connection, failures are given in here. A shear failure of the bolt. So we have discussed already about the shear mechanism. Mostly the bolt carries the shear stress. Next is bearing failure of the bolt. Third is tensile failure of the bolt. Similarly, the same failure can occur to the plates as well. So the shear failure of the plate, bearing failure of the plate, and the tensile failure of the plate. So let us see the corresponding failures. So in shear failure, we have gone through this. This is a single shear, this is a double shear. And after the failure, what will be the diagram, what it will look like? See, a bearing failure due to the bolt will something look like this. See, here a bolt is not present because this is a picture or the diagram of after failure. Okay. See, bearing failure does look like in this manner. So it has been just tried to resist or tried, the bolt has tried to be in that position, but that part has been stretched a little bit. So that kind of failure is known as the bearing failure. See, this is a net tension failure. See what happened in this place. Due to here the bolt was in this place and the net tension failure. See, if a certain amount of force has been subjected to this direction, so that total the net part of the plate has been failed or has been broken out altogether in this direction. So a pulling mechanism has just uh, broke this total plate into its net area. So that is why it is also called a net tension failure. Next is shearing failure. See, here this total part has been sheared out by the bolt. See, here a shear, why we are calling this shear of failure? As I have already told you, that a total block of this part has been sheared out or cut out from the plate. See, a shear has been developed in this alignment to that alignment during the failing activity, right? So we will call this as a shear out failure. Next, this is called a cleavage failure. If a plate has been subjected to this direction and the bolt was in this plate, so the bolt itself has come out to this direction by just leaving the bolt at the same direction. That is why see a broken alignment can be observed in this place. This is called a cleavage tension failure. Why? Because see, due to that tension mechanism, a cleavage failure has been occurred, and here this was a tension failure, right? We have already seen. So this part has been torn out due to the tension failure. See, here you can observe this similar pattern of failure. That is why this is called a cleavage tension failure. And the bolt failure will occur in this way. Okay. So see, this is a type of bearing failure in a practical way. This is a type of bearing failure. So it bear mean to sustain or to retain, mean how much you can bear, how much you can take it. So a bolt in that part has tried to take the total load, but it has got failed by its bearing capacity. So we need to check the bearing capacity of bolt before and while designing. Okay, so this is a kind of a bearing failure in the plate. Okay. Next is tension failure. So this is a picture which has been shown from the side view of the bolting. See, this is a bolt connection, and this is called the grip lane. Mean in this lane the plate will lie. Okay, or that plate will lie up to this. In fact, so here you can see the plate will lie considering some amount of threaded part of the bolt, right? So considering that total threaded part, that will be the grip plane. So as we know, the grip means to hold, right? So the holding portion of the bolt is considered as the grip plane. This is the nut, this is the threaded part, and this is the length of the threaded part considering the grip plane. See here, if a tension force is applied, this kind of failure may happen. So a necking you can observe here. Before the failure, a necking will occur. So this kind of failure is also known as tension failure in the bolt. See, another kind of failure which can happen is the threaded part. See, these were the threaded part, right? This crossing, this crocodile tail pattern of part is known as the threaded part. So a total threaded part can be cut out from the bolt connection, and the total nut can be dislocated from this bolt connection. So this can happen due to the tension failure. Okay, so this diagram depicts the tension failure in the bolt. Next is, this is also called a block shear failure. See, this is a plate and this is another plate which has been connected with this primary plate with this two bolt. See, if a certain amount of force is subjected to this plate, then what happens is, see, this total part which has been covered with the dotted line, this entire part has been cut out from this total plate, leaving behind this unshaded part. So this kind of failure is called block shear failure. So a total block has been cut out from the original part of the plate, and the failure mechanism is a shear failure, because see, a shear has been developed in this part, and perpendicular to the force, the failure which is occurring is a tension failure. So that failure which will occur perpendicular to the force will be known as tension failure, and parallel to the force, see, this is the parallel, this failure line has occurred parallel to this direction of the force, right? So that will always be due to shearing effect. So that is, we can see that the shear failure and the tension failure is taking out the entire block out of its original plate. That is why this is called the block shear failure. See, this is a I section. This I section may, in an original way, it is kind of this way, okay, and the wave part of this I section is connected with another I section. Here what we can observe with a bolting connection. See here a failing pattern which has been created in this way. So this part, see, if a force comes in this way, so this part of failure will be called as tension failure, because this is a perpendicular, this failure has occurred perpendicularly, and this part failed due to the shear failure, because this is associated in a parallel way to the direction of the force. So in this mechanism a failure has been occurred in this section. This is also a block shear failure. See, this is another type of a block shear failure. Here the entire part has been came out from this primary plate. So see, this both failure is parallel to the direction of the force. So this is a shear failure, and the perpendicular to the force, that failure is called as the tension failure. So in the block shear failure, there will be two accumulated failure, which is shear and tension in the plane of the plate. Okay. Next, things to remember for bolted connection. Stress concentration results in a considerable decrement in tensile strength. So for bolted connection, if a stress concentration occur for a very long time, it can result to decrement in tensile strength to the bolt. Okay. Next is loose fit of the joint can reduce the stiffness, which may result in excessive deflection. So a loose fit may occur a failure and it may cause excessive deflection. So we have to tighten the bolt properly, each and every bolt. Next, a vibration can cause loosening of nuts, which can jeopardize the safety of structure. So, due to an excessive vibration, this nut can be loosened out. So, that if a bolt connection, if a bolt connection get loosened out, then the plate which has been molded by this nut can fall off from this connection. So these things we have to know. Okay. Next is criteria for designing bolted joints with axially loaded members. So axially loaded members mean, so this picture here, see, this is axially loaded member. See the bolt major axis in this way, and the force has been applied in through this major axis, right? So this is a kind of a axial force or axially loaded. So when see, if this is a member, this is a plate member, this is another plate member, okay, and this has been connected by this two bolt, and this total member has been subjected to this load. So see, this is a axially loaded member. Okay, so what are the criteria which needed to be observed? So the length of joint should be small as possible to save the material on cover plates and gusset plates. So gusset plates we have discussed. See, I will show you the picture. See, this is the gusset plate. Okay, and these are the connected plates to the gusset. So the precaution which has been said here, the length of joints. So what are the length of joints here? The length of joint is this part. So the joint of this member to the gusset plate is that, and this is the length of the joint. So the length of the joint should be as small as possible to save material on cover plate and gusset plate. Okay. Next is the central line of all members meeting at a joint should coincide at one point only. Otherwise, the joint will twist out of position. Mean we will try to make all these alignment of the connection. See here, the connection has not given properly. So the ideal one should be that all the connection will join in one single point in order to avoid a twisting out of position, Okay. Next is the number of holes should be increased gradually towards the joint for uniform stress distribution. Okay. Next is the arrangement should satisfy the pitch, gauge and edge distance requirements as we have discussed in previous class, and the strength of joint reduces due to bolt holes, obviously. See, if this is a paper, okay, so if you try to pull this out, so the amount of resistance which will be developed in this page, and if you pull this same page by providing a hole, see the net area has been reduced. So the area of this total paper has been reduced a some amount of this dimension. I mean this area has been reduced from this part of the paper. That is why if our area is reduced, then the stress will be developed. As we know, P by A is equal to stress. So if a stress is reduced, then if the area is reduced, then the stress will get increased, right? This is inversely proportional. If one will decrease, the another will increase. So what happens? So due to the while connecting two plates, we have to create a hole. It is necessary, but we are also reducing the net area. So that is why we will try to create a intelligent design or a smart design, that we are creating a whole side by side. We have to observe that we will not reduce the strength much I mean, we will not reduce the strength much. So the reduction in area due to bolt holes can be minimized by arranging in zigzag form. So see, so this pattern is mostly accepted due to the avoidance of net reduced area. See, the failure due to this chain bolting can be minimized if you create a connection of zigzag or staggered bolting. Okay, so these are some notation, these are some criteria for designing of bolt joints. Okay, so as of now, do you have any problem understanding? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So let me just call your name one by one.